So, we're out here, well sorry, I was out here going for a quick drive on the Scrambler, and I figured might as well do a little review of it. I've had it for almost a year, and there's a lot of good things I like about it, and there's some bad things I don't like about it. So yeah, let's cue the intro and we'll get into it. Alrighty, so like I mentioned, it's been not quite a year, but pretty close to it that I've owned this now. So I figured it'd be a good time to do a review on it. Since winter's coming, and I don't really drive it as much in the winter, then I switched to sled mode and started doing all kinds of sled stuff. So yeah, let's get this review over with. So we'll start off with things I don't like about it. So right off the bat, the factory tires are pretty terrible for anything other than, like, you know, regular trail riding. It depends what you're doing, I guess, with it, but that's to be expected with pretty much any ATV you're gonna buy new. They usually have kind of stuff like these Carlisle 49s are pretty common, unless you're buying, you know, an XMR, let's say, or a high lifter. You get either the Cryptids or the Outlaw 2s, but for the most part, most ATVs come with a similar tire to this. So right off the bat, I don't like those. I have some 28-inch ITP Cryptids on separate rims that I have for this that are absolutely amazing. Good in the mud, good in the snow, good on the road. They're light. I love them. But anyways, so right off the bat, yep, don't like the tires. Not a big deal. Another thing is storage. So it's got these really tiny racks on it. One in the back. No storage in the front, really. But once again, that's kind of to be expected with this. It's not really, this isn't geared towards being a utility workhorse quad. You know, a sportsman is. If you want that, you know, go for a sportsman. If storage is a big thing for you, you know, this won't cut it. But once again, I knew what I was buying when I was getting into when I bought this, and then that doesn't really bother me. I haul a little bit of stuff with it, but not much, enough to me. Sorry, not enough for me to warrant, you know, complaining about the racks. Two up. My wife likes to come for rides every once in a while, and apparently, I wouldn't know because I don't ride on the back of it, but apparently it's terrible. Terrible to ride on the back of this thing. So if that's a factor for you, you know what I mean, it's no good. You could buy, I'm sure you could probably buy a 2-up seat, which would be the logical thing to do. I never bothered, but anyways, apparently just riding it how it is without any 2-up seat is no good. A lot of people will say they're bad on bushings and bearings and things like that. This one has about 2,500 kilometers on it. I just did a bunch of A-arm bushings. What else did I do to this thing? I did 3 wheel bearings, I think, on it, some A-arm bushings, and that was it, actually. So I don't know. To me, seeing it's got 2,500 kilometers, I got to do some bushings. The bushings are cheap, and a few wheel bearings. Not too concerning. So that doesn't bother me. Other than that, I haven't had to do any repairs to this thing at all. And when I bought it off the original owner, he hadn't done anything either. So, and my last thing I guess I really got to complain about is it does have some weak points from Polaris. Now, when I bought this, I was aware of these, so right off the bat, I bought it before I even rode the thing. So if you're gonna ride one of these and you plan on doing somewhat bigger tires for mudding or whatever you want to do, the biggest thing I think you got to look into is this front diff pinion plate. So if you look, I have an aftermarket billet one here. Now, all of these from the factory from Polaris, as far as I know, are weak. And what happens is, once you get bigger tires on it and you put a lot of stress on your driveline and the components, the first thing to fail is this pinion cover. It'll crack. And once that cracks, you know, your pinion will start to walk out and it'll take the diff with it. So do yourself a favor, if you're buying one of these and you're planning on doing bigger tires, get one of those right off the bat. They're pretty cheap, you know what I mean? It's cheap insurance anyway, so that's what I did. Never had a problem with it. The last thing that's bad about them is the frame tends to snap on your A-arm mounts here. So in the rear here and in the front, I believe it's the front lower mounts, yes. So these little tabs will snap off the frame. It takes your frame with it. So what I did, and I went to Chico or Seco, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and he sells these aftermarket frame brace brackets. So those will set you up good. You put those in, you don't worry about it. And I haven't had any problems since I put it in. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all that I don't like about it or had problems with. Things I do like about it. The way it looks, I love the way it looks. Awesome. A lot of guys complain that the fenders, you know what I mean, you put bigger tires, they stick out of the fenders. It's just what happens. The fenders are very narrow, I should say. And you pretty much just get covered with mud or whatever. You get covered, no matter what you do, you just get covered. There's no way to avoid it. A lot of guys put flares on it to keep a bit off you. But you know what, if I wanted fenders, I would have bought a Sportsman. So, you know, once again, it's something I knew what I was getting into, and it doesn't bother me. I love the way it looks. Power steering. So I got the HO model, or whatever you want to call it, special edition. This one's a 2013, so they made a special edition. You have power steering and the Fox shocks. Power steering on this, awesome, love it. Never had a quad with power steering before, and honestly, I never really cared to get power steering because that was never an issue for me. I never felt the need to, you know, have power steering. I thought it was kind of stupid, but now that I have it, it's hard to go back. It's amazing, man. It's really, really good. That power steering is awesome. I can steer with 2 fingers with the 28s on it, no problem. It's nothing. When my wife drives it, if she drives it by herself, same thing. She can steer it, awesome. The Fox shocks. Now, honestly, to me, the biggest thing that made me want to buy the Scrambler is the suspension. These Fox shocks are amazing. Little moguls, little whoop sections. I can hit them faster on this than I can do on my 450 race trike. Maybe not quite as fast as my dirt bike there, but this thing soaks up bumps like you wouldn't believe. It's beautiful, man. And same with ride quality. I've ridden a lot of stuff, and I think these have the best ride, and the Sportsmans as well, out of any quad. There's no, in my opinion, there's no arguing that. These have the best ride. The engine, 850 engine, no complaints, man. Super powerful, lots of bottom end, lots of top end. You know, I put the 28s on it. It has no problem spinning the 28s. I've had it in the mud. I've driven it here in the snow. I've had it a little bit in the sand pit, and it does good everywhere. No complaints engine-wise. Same with the tranny, good. I've never blown a belt on it. Nothing. It's been super good. It sounds really good too, like from the factory exhaust that they put on it. It actually sounds really good. I have a slip-on that I did buy for it, which sounds awesome. I bought an RJWC, just a slip-on, but to be honest, it's it's ridiculously loud. It sounds really good when you're in the trail and stuff like that, but if you plan on doing any like long road riding, or you know what I mean, riding where you're at, you know, higher speeds for extended lengths of time, running dirt roads or whatever, any aftermarket slip, I shouldn't say any, but most aftermarket slip-ons, I'll tell you right now, like they give you a huge headache. They drone really hard. They're very loud. But you know, slower trails and you're doing mud and whatnot, awesome. But as for the factory one, sounds really good, man. It really does. Headlights, special edition, you get the LED headlights, very good at night. I really do like it. There's no need to add any extra lights or light bars or whatnot. It works very well. The riding position on it, very good. It almost feels like I shouldn't say it feels like a race quad, but at speed, when you're getting into technical stuff and you're really hitting bumps and whatnot, with the power steering making the steering extremely light, it honestly feels like a really big wide race quad. The 2013s, this specific year, has the, if you get an 850, has the digital dash. Pretty cool. I like it. No problems with that. One thing I kind of wish they would have put in, I guess it's not really necessary, but I wish they would have kind of had a temp gauge on here to tell you what the temp is. There's a temp light, it'll tell you if you're overheating, I guess, but there's no temp gauge to tell you where you're at, so that would have been nice. But the 4x4 system, all-wheel drive system, very good. Once again, no problems. I haven't had any issues with it. It works very well. We'll start it up here so you can hear it. Like I said, it sounds really good just for a factory exhaust. It sounds nice. It's not overly loud, but you know what? It has a nice throaty sound for being stock, so. Sounds good. So, you know what? Overall, like I said, after a year I've had it, I like it, man. Big thumbs up on that. No major complaints. Just the little things I mentioned to you there, but nothing major. That's it was a good purchase. If you like this kind of stuff, check out my other videos. I got all kinds of stuff. I got the 450 trike that I mentioned earlier. I've got, you know, ATC 70 stuff. I got videos of this racing, a brute force. You know, I got all kinds of stuff on here. So if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for now.